When I was introduced to biomedical field, I felt like it was a perfect match for me. It just had the blend between technical side and then a medical side, and still hands-on. That's what I like. The reason why I chose HCC is because when I was looking for biomedical programs, many of them were tuition-based technical colleges, but I couldn't really afford it and I wouldn't get to debt, so I found that I qualified for financial aid, and HCC just helped me out there a lot. That inspired me to do really well, so I happened to make it to the dean's list, and then little did I know I got a check in the mail from the dean, just another award for having a 4.0 GPA, and I wasn't expecting that, so that was pretty great. The instruction was really good. It was a lot according to the book, but we did have some hands-on training. Some professors shared like their personal experience from the field, which is really interesting because I didn't know much about biomedical field before then. So just a nice balance between technical side and just hands-on. So the great thing about HCC biomedical program is that part of the program, there's an internship that's mandatory part of the program, and it's at the very end. So before you go to the internship, they give you everything you need to succeed in the workforce, and then as part of the program, you go to an internship and they feed you right into the workforce. For me, HCC got me an internship with AEI Biomedical, which is a local Houston small company, and I met some people there and they were very kind and friendly, and I really enjoyed interning there. And then at the end, they recommended me for a position they knew was open since they were, they had connections. And I applied, and they actually sent a letter of recommendation on my end, and that really helped me out and led to me working as a biomedical technician for GE for the Houston Methodist Hospital. HCC made a huge impact on my life. It gave me a chance to start a new career, doing something that I love, and being able to provide for my family.
I remember when I was a young girl, my dad said to me one day, "Listen, you can be anything you want to be. Put your head to it, you can do it." And he always said, one thing people can do, they can take a lot from you, they can never take your knowledge. So I found myself divorced after a 20-year marriage. I had to recreate myself, and it hit me. You need to go back to school. And here I am at HCC pursuing a degree in international business. While at HCC, because of my exemplary studies, my grades, my community service, I found myself being offered a scholarship by the United States Department of State to go to India to study abroad. Also, while at HCC, I was awarded a paid internship with Pepperl & Fuse International Logistics Company to do a co-op study program. Just imagine, I traveled across the world to India, came back to the States safely, only to find myself 3 weeks later in a major car accident. While traveling from my HCC class, going to the co-op assignment, a tire was lost from one of the commercial vehicles on the road, and that tire hit my car head on. All I remember is the car went airborne, and next thing I knew, again, I was stuck upside down. I've dealt with a lot in my life: domestic violence, being homeless, trying to start all over again, and now having to deal with multiple spinal injuries, knee injury, and just intense physical therapy. The challenge of keeping it mentally together is bigger than the physical, because the traumatic situation that I went through, being trapped in that car, is something that I deal with daily. Everything that I had done up to that point, I felt like it was falling apart. I had to figure out how to keep it together. Having two parents that overcame the most impossible obstacles, my dad being sickle cell, my mom being totally disabled from a major car accident as a pedestrian, it made me look at this and say, you have to fight past this. You have to get these, you have to do your grades. You have to go to the PT. And here I am today, finished my finals, didn't do as well as I would have done, I'm sure, if without the accident, but I made it. And it was my story when I walked back into those classrooms that the other students were like cheering me, like, I can't believe you're in the class. I came to HCC to learn international business, but what I also learned was the power of community of the students and the faculty at HCC.
I was actually doing valet parking before joining HCC. I was waiting to go pick up a car while I was sitting down thinking about my job, where am I in life. I did realize that two ways to get better at your life, which it's either open up in a business or going for education. So I actually, talking to my friends who went to HCC, they had good success. I decided to go and talk to HCC as well. That's how it started. Went to the counselor office. I sat down with the counselor and showed me a program called HVAC. And we start going through everything. I realized that's something I am interested in. I graduated in 2014, and immediately after graduating, I got hired at John Moore. I came into John Moore Services. Before getting an interview, they do give you an actual written test. It's a big written test. And going to school to HCC helped me pass that test, which passing the test does give you an interview with the management at John Moore. Without passing that test, I would not have the job I have right now. Working at John Moore has been a great, wonderful journey. I did start as a HVAC install helper. John Moore did see the potential in me and taught me more. They moved me to a lead. And then I became a maintenance technician. Little bit after, I became a service technician. Short later after, I became a sales technician as well. Thanks to the foundation I've learned at HCC that helped me continue to grow at John Moore. So within a year and a half actually of working at John Moore, I was actually the #1 salesman at the company. At HCC and John Moore, I learned about HVAC, but more importantly, I learned that improving your life is possible.
I went to HCC to study cosmetology because I had a relationship with the college. I had gone there for undergrad and I had worked for sports rec, so I thought it was just natural to go there to get my hours while I transitioned into this beauty industry. Going to HCC, I knew nothing about cosmetology. I couldn't even pick up a round brush, so they taught me everything that I know. It was overwhelming at first because I didn't know much about it, but the instructors are very caring and they're very patient, so they teach you from beginning to end. The goal is to be able to prepare yourself for the beauty industry. HCC prepares you for the state board. You go off, you take the exam, you get your license, and then you go off into the beauty world. So you could go behind the chair immediately, but I chose to go an alternative route. I chose the upper hand because they had a very rigorous apprenticeship program, and my boss, Rachel, she's on the board, and she was looking for somebody to fill the spot for the apprentice program, and she chose me, and I spent a year and a half learning real-world techniques and kind of honing my craft to what it is today, and I'm so grateful. After the apprenticeship, I was set out into the floor, and so I want to be really well-rounded. So while meeting my new guests and my new clients, I also took up a job at KHOU. My salon has a very good relationship with them, and I had known some people that were on the team, so it was just natural for me to join that team. I always felt that I had a place in this industry. I just needed to take it.
Raphael's amazing because not only does he do his job well, which is hair, but he also brings a spirit into the room every morning. He walks in, he's polite, he's kind, he boosts your spirits and helps everybody else get prepared for the rest of their day.
As cliche as it sounds, don't limit yourself. Dream big, and you can knock everything off of that checklist that you want. For me, HCC was that perfect stepping stone to getting me where I am in my career today.
When I was younger, my father was a geologist. We actually lived in the Midwest, and we used to go to the river, and we would just talk about what's in the river and talk about the sediment. And what's erosion, how things flow. And so that kind of got me in the engineering mindset to be how do things flow? What has changed? So that kind of started me down the path of engineering. I chose HCC because it was a great place. It's an accredited institution that actually has great professors, people that have worked in the industry that come back and teach. And then also the classroom sizes are smaller, so you can actually do Q&A during the class, which makes things much, much better. So for my senior design class, we're actually making a bionic glove that actually help people with rehabilitation purposes. So our goal is basically to give strength back to people that have loss of strength due to aging, disability, or an accident. I've received a couple scholarships from HCC, and based on those scholarships, I was able to focus more on school, conduct research, and I was actually paid to do science. The math and science that I learned at HCC really helped me do better at the research experiences, and it actually took me to greater heights to the national labs. HCC has provided me with the math and science skills that have enriched my career and continue to help me establish a stronger and more long-lasting and fulfilling career.
I was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and after going through that, they actually transferred me here to Memorial Hermann. And as I was sitting in the hospital, I was thinking to myself, I may not be here. So I decided when I got here, I was going to go back to school. I wanted to do what I wanted to do, which was art. Barely could walk, and walked through the doors of HCC and went straight to admissions, and I told them I wanted to do art. I wanted to paint everything, but I didn't have that talent. I didn't have the ability. But now I have the ability to look at things, and I'm able to put down what it is I see because of what I acquired here at HCC. All of the teachers that I took in art basically told me to stop trying to force things on the canvas. To get out of my head, get into my heart, and put down the story that I want on canvas. I think about those stages. There's 3 particular girls, and I don't think I would ever be the person I am right now without having those 3 stages in my life, especially the cancer girl. I think the cancer girl woke me up. I think I was just walking through life sleep and just going, okay, well, I'm just gonna do what I'm told. And once the cancer girl showed up, it was a whole different other reality. Things that did not matter, and now I want my art to matter. I don't think I would have ever acquired the love I have for and the appreciation of art if I would have never came to HCC. When I walked in here, they rebuilt me and taught me how to think and how to put things down, and allowed me to do it through my art. And I love that. And I will never forget what HCC has done.
Good morning and welcome, everyone. My name is Marcus Thompson, and I'm honored to open today's program and share my story. I'm a recipient of Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo Technical Scholarship from the HCC Foundation. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to my scholarship donors for their generous investment in my future. Thank you for seeing me as deserving of such reward. I plan on making the best of it. My path to HCC has not been direct. In 2018, I traded the winters of Wisconsin for summers here in Houston. I moved here with all my possessions in my car to pursue new opportunities. A year later, I became a father, and my ambition to achieve a better life grew stronger. I enrolled at HCC after taking classes at a local four-year university and working in various jobs. A coworker told me about HCC and the potential to earn a better salary once I had my degree. Her advice definitely paid off. Coming to HCC has made all the difference. Since I started on my journey to become a process technician, I'm currently a 4.0 student, and I'm currently on the dean's list. I'm also a member of several honor society, and I'm also a part of a great program called Men of Honor. My scholarship enables me to focus on my studies and my goal to graduate next spring. Besides wanting to get into a career where I will be able to take care of my family, I also want to show my two beautiful baby girls they are more than capable of achieving anything that they can create a plan for, and that they also have the possibilities to excel beyond measures. This past year, like many of my classmates, I had to navigate new technology to learn online and stay strong in my classes. We all had to adapt to get it done as we faced the new normal. Receiving the scholarship from the HCC Foundation is one of my greatest accomplishments for sure. I'm beyond grateful that I don't have to worry about how we'll pay for my tuition or my books this year. I'm also grateful to the many dedicated HCC faculty and staff who help me make dreams possible each day with the work you do for students like me who are seeking to step up the ladder of success. Thank you for what you do each day for students like myself, and thank you for helping me succeed. Your investment is paying rewards for me, my family, and future generations. Thank you for inspiring me to believe in myself and dream bigger. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Todd Duplantis, Director of HCC TV, and I'll be your MC this morning. Thank you, Marcus, for kicking off our program. Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, a longtime supporter of HCC student scholarships through the HCC Foundation, and we're pleased to showcase their generous commitment to HCC's student success. We're excited to bring this to everyone at home via live stream. Right now, we're here at the auditorium at the Central College. We're also very eager to welcome our colleagues on other campuses via our great bridge technology format. Right now, let's hear from some of them across the district. We're going to start off with Dr. Philip Nicotera from Coleman College. Dr. Nicotera, good morning to you.
Good morning, Todd. Good morning, HCC. As Todd said, I'm Dr. Phil Nicotera, President of Coleman College of Health Sciences. On behalf of the staff and faculty at Coleman, we want to welcome you to Convocation this year. So as we enter this new year, we all look forward to the best year ever. So good luck and thanks for your dedication. We truly appreciate it. Thanks, Todd.
Thanks, Dr. Nicotera. Always good to see you. All right now we're going to take you out to the Northwest College. I believe we have Dr. Hodges and his team standing by. Dr. Hodges?
Good morning, Todd. Good morning, HCC colleagues. Welcome to the West Side. We are here with our Northwest College team. We are making it happen and rocking and rolling on the West Side. I want to take this time, though, to really thank that frontline worker who's just really hammering away to serve our students and make it work for our students. So excited about Monday, so excited about this academic year. We're going to make it happen out here, and I know as HCC is as well, across this institution. This is going to be a great, great year for us all.
Thank you, Dr. Hodges. He was, by the way, at the West Houston Institute, if you didn't notice. Okay, right now we're going to journey out to the Northeast College where Dr. Monique Umphrey is standing by. Dr. Umphrey, are you there? All right, we may have a few technical problems, always a few glitches. That's what happens on this morning, these type of mornings. We're going to circle back with Dr. Humphrey, check in with her in just a moment. Right now, we'll go out to the Southwest College. I believe Dr. Madeline Barillo-Hopkins is standing by with her team at the West Loop Auditorium. Dr. Barillo-Hopkins, are you there?
We are here. Welcome back, Houston Community College. We are live from the HCC West Loop Auditorium, excited for the start of a new year. Unprecedented, historical. We have made it through and we are here. So now that we're back together, let's make the 21-22 academic year the best ever for HCC and our students. We lift each other up, our students, our communities, stronger, reimagine, better, innovative, together as one. Welcome back, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Barillo-Hopkins. Okay, we're going to journey out to the Southeast College. I believe we have interim President Garza standing by with his team. And if I'm correct, you guys are at an art gallery, right?
Todd, can you hear us?
We can hear you.
My name is Matt Garza. We're at the art gallery here. I'm the interim president for Southeast College. I'm here with our new incoming president.
Hello, good morning. Frances Villagrán Glover. Nice to see everybody.
We want to thank everybody for joining us. We're going to have a fabulous fall semester. We wish everyone the best, and we want to give a shout out from our Southeast family here at Eastside. So thank you, everyone, for letting us join you this morning. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Interim President Garza, and also a treat to see Dr. Villagrán Glover out there as well. Good to see you. Okay, we're going to journey out to 3100 Main right now. The president of our online college is standing by. Dr. Margaret Ford Fisher, I believe you're in your office this morning.
Yes, good morning, Todd. Thank you so very, very much, and good morning, everyone. My name is Margaret Ford Fisher, president of the HCC Online College. The online college staff and I are delighted to join you via a live stream. We are your virtual college within HCC, partnering with you to offer over 60 certificate and degree programs anytime, anywhere. I'm joining you from the district office, as Todd indicated, sitting at my computer, which over the past year, most everyone has become more adept at using. We are proud that you are always willing to collaborate and to help our students achieve their educational goals and objectives. Thank you so very, very much. So remember that your online offerings are the difference maker for many of our students. HCC online, anytime, anywhere. We hope you enjoy the convocation and have a great semester.
Thank you, Dr. Ford Fisher. Before we get to the Central College, I wanted to see if Dr. Humphrey is online yet. Can we check and see if she's available? She is not. Okay. So we're going to go right now to the Central College with a team led by Dr. Siddiqui, our president out here. They, by the way, are right next door at the Learning Hub. Dr. Siddiqui, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Todd, and good morning, SCC. I'm Dr. Mudassir Siddiqui. I'm president at Central College. We are live from Learning Hub of the Central Campus. We are very excited to be the part of this great convocation. Looking forward to a wonderful, brand new fall semester. On behalf of Central College staff and faculty, I wish you all the success in your academic pursuit. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Siddiqui. And as you can see, everybody's looking forward to a great semester. It was so great to see everyone's faces. We hope to see you all in person soon. Okay, let's move on to our next part. Today, you're going to hear from our board chair, our chancellor, faculty senate president, and some students speaking about HCC's future and how it is deeply connected to the city we call home. With that, I'm honored to introduce and welcome HCC's board chair, Dr. John P. Hanson, District 6. Dr. Hanson, come on out and welcome.
Thank you, Todd. Welcome back, everyone. I'm so excited that we are able to still come together to celebrate what is rounding off to be an exciting 50th anniversary for HCC. I hope you were able to spend time with your family and friends and relax before kicking off this fall semester. We're honored to welcome our faculty and staff to our fall 2021 Convocation. Today, we continue to celebrate Houston Community College's 50th anniversary and take a look at how we're taking important steps to prepare the institution for the future, especially in the areas of diversity, technology, and personalized learning. On behalf of the entire Board of Trustees, I want to let everyone know how grateful we are to Chancellor Maldonado, the leadership team, the faculty, and staff for your commitment and unwavering dedication to our students, especially as we navigated the COVID-19 pandemic. Together, we faced significant challenges and obstacles inside and outside the classroom. Through it all, we've managed to provide the education and service our students and our community need. We continue to take great pride in everything we have accomplished, and it's all thanks to the passion and hard work of HCC's faculty and staff. I want to take a moment to acknowledge my fellow trustees who contribute to the advancement of our great institution and the greater Houston community. Our Vice Chair, Dr. Reagan Flowers, District 4. Our Secretary, Dr. Cynthia Lenton-Gary, District 7. Monica Flores-Reichert, District 1. Rhonda Skillern-Jones, District 2. Dr. Adriana Tomez, District 3. Robert Glazer, District 5. Eva Laredo, District 8. And Dr. Preta Vanderbilt-Stallworth, District 9. As we start to close out our 50th anniversary celebration and our time of reflecting on the wins of the past, it's time we fully embrace our future, the future for Houston. We will continue to work together to maintain, innovate, and go beyond expectations. On behalf of my fellow trustees, thank you again for your commitment and your dedication to Houston's Community College.
Thank you, Dr. Hanson. Now I'm excited to welcome Dr. Antrice Baget, the HCC Faculty Senate President. Dr. Antrice Baget has served Houston Community College since 1995 in a variety of positions, including adjunct and full-time faculty in the Histories and Humanities departments. She's a part-time campus manager, among numerous other roles. Dr. Baget also serves on the HCC Foundation Board as faculty liaison. Welcome to the stage, Dr. Baget.
Good morning and welcome. My name is Dr. Antrice Baget. I am a full-time faculty member who teaches American, African American history, and the minority experience in the Humanities Department. I have the honor of serving as your Faculty Senate President for the 2021-2022 academic year. I research and study past trends, people, and events as a means of understanding and predicting the future for our students. Trust me, I haven't been wrong yet. However, my daughter would beg to differ with me on that point. Thank you all so much for joining us this morning. Although we would like to have you all here with us at a campus venue in the auditorium at the Central College, where we're live streaming, this is our new normal. And hopefully, we are all more comfortable and adjusted this year. In 2018, Dr. Darren Baskin spoke of developing a sense of belonging. AVC of College Readiness, Desmond Lewis, ushered in a sense of belonging during his administration. This past year, librarian extraordinaire Mr. Daniel Dilla demonstrated that open dialogue, regular updates, and meaningful information calms the spirits and nerves when questions arise. Like their predecessors, these past presidents of the Faculty Senate answered the call to leadership each navigating and calming the waters with their unique style and grace. Join me in thanking them for their continued service to Houston Community College. And speaking of service to the institution and Houston's community, the HCC's Foundation annual Faculty and Staff campaign starts September 17th. Just a $10 auto deduction from each paycheck pays for one student in an in-district class. This year, more than ever before, please consider giving. Our students and their families need our assistance. Today, I stand here on the shoulders of many instructional champions, leaders, some family, friends, and other colleagues. Several have retired, others are logging in and watching, and a few have crossed over to the other side. I am an advocate military brat. I'm a wife, a mother, a sister, an aunt, and a friend. I am a scholar practitioner who is the proud daughter of a NASA safety engineer and a K-12 educator. Yet, my favorite reserve roles are for the little people in my life who call me honey and TT Trees. So, I tell you this because I want you to remember that I am the sum of many wrapped into one individual. I am a living and breathing tapestry of cultures, values, and expectations. I, like you, am a walking mosaic. Like our students, I am more than the person that you see and engage with daily. So today, I invite each of you to join me and embark on a season of caring. Author and DEI expert Heather Younger defines caring leadership as taking intentional daily actions that show concern and kindness for those that we lead. A caring leader advocates for his or her colleagues, administrative staff, and the students. When our students and communities know we will go the extra mile to ensure their success, they will always reciprocate with acts of loyalty, motivation, and enthusiasm. Caring leadership requires the soft skills of integrity, empathy, compassion, courtesy, responsibility, professionalism, creativity, flexibility, and an ever willing, strong work ethic. We are leaders. Each one of us who is watching today is a leader. And we are obligated to treat people with respect and integrity. In fact, we should treat people better than the way they treat us. Leaders lead from every position. That's faculty, staff, adjuncts, full-time faculty, administrators, board members, and the community at large. So I challenge you to lead with your heart. As my grandmother said, you can catch more flies with honey than with vinegar. Over the past 4 years, I have become more tech-savvy than I ever imagined. Technology has become so familiar with us, and I enjoy how it has improved my research and my communication skills. Our 2021 theme is diversity, technology, and personalized learning. Again, technology has become more familiar to higher education in the past 18 months than ever before. So to our faculty who aid colleagues in transitioning to online anytime or online with the schedule, you are improving student retention every day, which impacts our enrollment. When you respond to emails in a timely manner, host virtual meetings, or answer an office phone call, do it with compassion and sensitivity, because we never know what someone is facing or dealing with. Remember, we are a tapestry of cultures, a radiant mosaic. To the full-time faculty who mentor our colleagues, adjuncts, and full-time, your mentorship and encouraging words are the small steps that create leaps and bounds. Each day, we continue to improve HCC's institutional legacy. And diversity. Drs. Donna Davis, Darren Baskin, Mary Lawson, Stacy Higdon, Nicole Butte-Humalana, and the Senate Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Student Success Committees, as well as the Social Justice and Beyond Committees, are dedicated to educating all of us on the new acceptable norms and practices. The Reading Cultures has a tradition of enlightening faculty, students, and community members with unique and robust dialogue. Personalized learning, the Institute for Teaching and Learning Innovation Team, HCC's online team, supplemental instruction team are the unsung heroes in this category. Their support continues and touches every aspect of the institution, as well as our great librarians and their directors. Drs. Nathan Smith and Donald Parker have assisted faculty with institutional material options that allow us to be innovative, creative, and save students money during this pandemic. The Professional Development Committee in the Senate also provides opportunities for faculty to improve their pedagogy and research activities. And last but certainly not least, a round of applause to Jenny Vaca and the Adjunct Academy facilitators who are training and redefining creativity and pedagogy. So in closing, I want you to remember, we are a mosaic of experiences, cultures, values, and expectations. Together, we continue to weave our legacy throughout the service area, including in the online environment. We are strong, we are intentional, we are purposeful. We are Houston's community college.
Thank you, Dr. Bajay. Very inspirational. Before we get to this next part, I want to go back and circle back out. We're going to go live to the Northeast College. I believe Dr. Monique Umphrey is plugged in and ready to go. Dr. Umphrey, are you there?
Yes. Thank you, Todd.
Good morning.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to Dr. Bajay for those inspiring words. And on behalf of the Northeast College, good morning to everyone. My name is Dr. Monique Umphrey. I bring you greetings from the ATTC, Northeast, North Line, North Forest, Acres Homes. Welcome and get ready for an exciting and meaningful convocation. We're so excited and glad to be able to join you. Hello, everyone. Glad to be able to join.
Thank you, Dr. Umphrey. Looking forward to a great semester. Okay, now here to talk more about the future of Houston Community College, we're proud to welcome our Chancellor, Dr. Cesar Maldonado.
Good morning. Thank you, Todd. Welcome to HCC's Fall 2021 Convocation. I'm so happy to welcome faculty and staff from all across the college community today. While we'd hoped to be together in person with appropriate safety precautions, the current COVID-19 red threat level required that we use technology to showcase today's convocation. Now, speaking of safety, just this week we created the HCC SOAR Safe Pledge, a plan that promotes the protection of all of us in our community. As you know, this year, HCC is celebrating its 50th anniversary serving students and the greater Houston community. Now, as 2021 begins to fade into 2022 and the next 50 years, HCC is looking to the future and what's on the leading edge of education and innovation. Despite the unpredictable and turbulent nature of last year, we were still able to accomplish quite a lot. And I'm grateful to the leadership from our Board of Trustees who helped guide us during these challenging and uncertain times. And I'm very proud of everyone at HCC who contributed to our many accomplishments and all the extra effort it took to make them happen. Now, here are just a few highlights. We'll start with our financial perspective. The institution's composite financial index for community colleges increased by 67%. We also received the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting, and we completed refinancing our bonds, saving nearly $100 million over the life of the debt. Additionally, grants have increased significantly from $9 million in 2019 to $39 million in 2020 to more than $71 million in 2021. A large portion of this increase was COVID-related, but as you can see on the screen, we've received grants from a variety of sources. Most recently, we received a grant from the Texas Workforce Commission for over $4 million for adult education. Our industry partnerships also continue to grow, and most notable are the scholarship and apprenticeship agreements with PepsiCo and the Coding Technology Lab partnership with Apple. And as a founding member of the Greater Houston Apprenticeship Network, we continue to expand apprenticeship opportunities for our students. Working jointly, the HCC College President's Council and the HCC Foundation mobilized to provide $25,000 from its disaster relief fund to help support our employees that were impacted by Winter Storm Uri. We were recognized as a national top 10 honoree in student services for our live virtual lobby, connecting students one-on-one with advisors. This was so impactful that it will remain at HCC as a standard. HCC was also named the 2020 Entrepreneurial College of the Year by the National Association for Community College Entrepreneurship. And lastly, the HCC Foundation provided more than $1.3 million in scholarships while raising more than $6 million in revenue, beating their goal by 120%. And for many students, these scholarships were the difference between stopping out and continuing at HCC. Now that we've taken some time to recognize our successes from the past year, it's time to turn to what's next. The theme of today's convocation centers around three major guideposts: diversity, technology, and personalized learning. Each of these elements are critical as we look into the future, 5-10 years out, even more. But what does that look like today? In his book on creative collaboration, the late leadership expert Warren Bennis tells us that none of us is as smart as all of us. And that's the thinking behind Mosaic and me. We've been working on building a stronger, more positive culture since 2015, when we launched the HCC Way. Everyone in the HCC community has worked together to clarify our mission, our vision, our strategic priorities, and our organizational competencies. Mosaic and me brings all of these pieces together, and we, the individual members of the HCC community, are the mortar that makes it stick. We are the ones who can have the most bearing on the culture we want to build and cultivate. And we all know culture has a tremendous impact on an organization's success. A positive, collaborative culture will help us attract the best faculty and retain the best staff. It will help bring students to our campuses and our online college, which is good for the entire Houston community. And it all starts with shared values, the guiding principles that form our foundation. And we've outlined HCC's 5 shared values as commitment to collaborate, devotion to service, empower to trust, passion to learn, and drive to innovate. Our values are already driving improvements, as seen through the recent survey responses, but also from our discussions. At the closing of the recent DEI summit, the conversation turned to mutual accountability. And I said I would work on defining that phrase, and I want to share it with you now. In their book, Scaling Excellence, Sutton and Rao share that accountability means that an organization is packed with people who embody and protect excellence, even when they're tired, even when they're overburdened, and even when they're distracted, who work vigorously to spread it to others, and who spot, help, and respectfully critique colleagues who fail to live and spread it. We are all connected. So if we head in the same direction, if we help each other be the best possible, with the same goals in mind, we can reach those goals more quickly. And personalized learning is the intersection of diversity and technology. That is the mosaic, all of us, our culture, our technology. The mosaic is all of us being smarter than one of us, empowered by technology to connect with our students in and out of the classroom. Our CRM, our student personas, the QEP are all tiles on this mosaic, and we each have a part to play. And I'm excited to see what insights and perspectives each of you bring to the mosaic that is Houston Community College. HCC is a diverse institution that serves many different students across our expansive region. And beyond academic needs, we're working to support the whole student in their personal, financial, their schedule, and transportation needs. This personalized learning approach reinforces the fact that we understand that the ingredients for an individual's success go beyond what happens in the classroom. And that's why, as we develop our Embracing Houston's Future strategic plan, we created a set of personas to help us meet students where they are. And the 9 personas are based on the needs of actual students and why they chose to come to HCC. And moving forward, they will evolve and be updated on a regular basis to more accurately reflect the changing student population and their needs. Additionally, as we continue to pursue excellence in the quality of education that we provide, it is important to critically assess our programs and curriculum. Our Quality Enhancement Plan, or QEP, is carefully designed to focus on actions that address student success over the next 5 years. It is a commitment to improve student outcomes that are critical to our mission, our vision, and our strategic plan. HCC is invested in our student success and is continually striving to enhance the student experience and equity through technology. Our transformation goal is to improve how we work, how we organize our projects, and how we document progress. Through our work with the Constituent Relationship Management Software, also known as CRM, we will create a seamless communication and holistic student experience from the moment an individual shows interest in the college through their graduation. And as you know, each year we normally recognize an individual or group with the Chancellor's Excellence Award. However, due to COVID, we took the opportunity to better align that recognition with our new strategic plan. We will be providing an update on the revamped award process soon, so stay tuned for that. And I want to express my appreciation to the many HCC employees who have so generously contributed year over year to the annual faculty and staff campaign. And I hope you will join me again in making another contribution this year. Let's show everyone that we're all in for HCC. Looking forward, our ongoing focus will be on our 6 strategic priorities, sustainability, and in strengthening the institution using important lessons from last year. That also means continuing to have crucial conversations that are necessary to promote collaboration across the entire college district. In fact, this afternoon, we are hosting 2 virtual discussions to promote ongoing dialogue around diversity, technology, and personalized learning. And I'm looking forward to these conversations and their outcomes. Many exciting things lie ahead for our college, for our students, and for our community. I'm grateful to the Board of Trustees for their continued support, as well as each and every one of you. And I'm confident that we can do anything our community wants and needs us to do. We are ready for what's next. Our businesses are counting on us. Our neighborhoods and communities are counting on us. Our students are counting on us to embrace Houston's future.
Thank you, Dr. Maldonado. Now we've got something special for you. I'm pleased to introduce Rob Curtin, Head of Global Education Strategy at Microsoft and a wonderful partner to Houston Community College. Rob, are you there?
I certainly hope so. I see myself on the screen, so let me start off by saying hello, everybody. Good morning. And I certainly wish I was there. I was planning for this to be my first business trip coming back. Was thrilled to join Chancellor Maldonado, Dr. Ewan, and all of you. Some of you may remember that I was there in the fall of 2019, just before, really only a few months before the pandemic hit. Excited to come back, but like all of us, safety is a heck of a lot better than hubris, and moving quickly to come back because we wanted to be in person. Let me also say that very honored and humbled to be here for really 2 reasons. I work with schools around the globe, and there's very few institutions with a vision, execution, and operating plan that I see Houston Community College executing. And I think the focus on people, the focus on students, really begs the question for me, why am I here today? Because a lot of what I speak to schools about is exactly what everyone spoke to this morning. I love my job. I love everything about what I get to do. Many people ask, how did you get this role? And I think it's super important to kind of acknowledge I got this role through a series of advantages that most people don't always get, regardless of where you're from, regardless of what region, what ethnicity, what culture. Not everyone has committed and loving parents. Not everyone has the benefit of being given a good education. Not anyone has the benefit of a relatively trauma-less childhood to build self-confidence and courage and integrity. But I was given and equipped with those things. And having a father, I saw Marcus this morning talk about his 2 little girls and his move from, I love that, the winters of Wisconsin to the summers of Houston. And what motivates him to provide for his family, quite frankly, is teary, because I know for my father, the child of an immigrant, being the first in his family to go to college and go on to get a PhD, has given me advantages that most people don't have. And seeing that promise in people's eyes today, seeing what people offer, I just couldn't help but take some notes. So what I'd really like to do, if that's okay, is I do have a couple of slides. I know people love slides, and I'm going to put them up and start from here. Who cares about my title? I put a word cloud together while people were talking. This is not all inclusive. I didn't capture every word, but I tried. Tools help me with that. I'm not sure if you can see on the screen, but I turned captions on. So if you're seeing my presentation, it looks like you may be seeing, at least from what I can see, you're still seeing my face. But assuming that you can see my screen, I grabbed just a few of the words that jumped out, right? Dream, affordability, scholarship, integrity, appreciation, do, reinvent. Just fantastic to hear the impact that you're having, the impact that technology can have. But let me also, I think, take a second to actually recognize you. The past 18 months has been tough across all industries. I put a jacket on today. I'm rather excited about that. Work at home can get boring. We study usability. We study human-computer interaction. And science says remote work is actually more stressful. Remote meetings don't provide the human feedback. They don't provide the human connection that anthropologically our minds, our bodies, our emotions need. The reality is a remote meeting is more stressful. Gamma and beta is overcoming alpha and theta. This is calm. This is relaxed. This is stronger short-term memory. This is amygdala hijack. Fight or flight. What do we need to do? And so when we don't get the feedback, when I can't see your faces in the audience, it stresses us out. We don't know if we're being received. And as faculty, I think that's really one of the hardest environments. You're speaking every day to crowds of students, and you're not getting the feedback that you're accustomed to, that your bodies need. And we're also working more. While we have no idea what's running through these chat notes or what's being said, we do have idea about activity. And you can see that around the clock, the greatest change, right? There was an increase in activity around the clock compared to the traditional work hour. But the greatest change is actually on the buffers of the day. People are IMing each other. What used to be commute time, what used to be that time to move forward, is now early engagement amongst your colleagues. People are reaching out, they're connecting. I always love to sort of start. This is a video that's actually 5 years old. I showed this video when I was there a couple of years ago, and I'm actually going to show it again. I do want to make sure that I have my sound on, so let me just make sure. That you can see this. So what I'm going to do is carry this over and start a little video that hopefully y'all can see.
My favorite subject in school is science because you can invent all different kinds of cool things and there's like no limit what you can do.
One inventor is Benjamin Franklin.
Leonardo da Vinci,
Thomas Edison, Albert Einstein,
Nikola Tesla, Alexander Bell Graham. No.
It's kind of a tough one. In school, it was always a male inventor. I just realized. So much. I didn't even know they even know that stuff.
You're surprised because they only talk about Einstein and Benjamin, but you never hear a girl in a conversation.
To know that there were women before me, it gives me like motivation that I can invent something and make maybe like a change in the world, and that would be really cool.
I love that video. Make what's next. It also happens to be in a tool that's a few years old that we've become accustomed to. But when this first came out, people were kind of like, wow. It automatically tagged the characters. It automatically identified when they showed up on the screen. So like most people, we want to find the pictures of our loved ones. We want to find the pictures of who we care about. This helps us do that. It found keywords. It found where was the word women mentioned. It does sentiment analysis. It recorded all of the text. I can translate it to any language. This is all powered by the cloud. And so this illustration of this capability is actually the exact same technology that, if you see my PowerPoint screen on my screen right now, which I hope you can see, is providing the same transcription so that my voice can be heard. For those that may not have full hearing, it could be translated in real time into multiple languages by whoever's taking a look at it. And also this capability of the cloud. If you have your phone with you, you can point your camera right at the QR code right here. And then it'll pop up, and we've all become accustomed to finding menus today at restaurants using the same technology. I can take quick surveys quickly within Office, because it's good for me to know, where are you? What are you doing? For me, I'm in my home office. It's pretty nice. Very often, if all my children are home, I'm somewhere else hiding on mute because I've been kicked out of what is my office that is actually someone else's bedroom. Or maybe you're remote, fortunate enough to be somewhere else today, maybe a great family location, and you can balance work and home life. So I can do that right from here. I can say within PowerPoint. So if you were showing this and had even in interactivity that you wanted every student to be able to interact with, take a quick poll, maybe a mini assessment, you could do that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. All of these responses are indeed being tracked. So I'm going to take a look, and you'll see so far, for those, we've got a few who've made it in, we have 23 responses. So the majority of you are claiming that you're back at the office based on the early sessions of everyone waving from the campuses. That's great, but this is all done with a tool called Office Forms. So you can build questions, you can integrate them into PowerPoint, you can just provide a link or a QR code. I just happen to have a single question here, but you could do many of those. So as you start to think about how you're going to evolve your practice, what's the role of interactivity, these are all kind of updated tools that I just want you to be aware of. Inclusivity was a serious goal. 2020 happened, and it really challenged institutions across the globe. It challenged expectations and some really false assumptions on digital equity. It challenged how people access, and it challenged our campus capability to reach students and keep the campus open. There was a great quote from the president of Northeastern, Joseph Aoun. Northeastern will never close. Our university never closes. While our residence halls and buildings may not be accessible today, the university is open. I think there were many versions of that that were said throughout the world, but remote learning was turned on rapidly. Rather heroic effort by IT personnel around the world, and really a rather heroic adaptation by faculty, by staff, by students, by families, to really adjust to what no longer was business as usual. And as we think about what we need to do, there's been this tension, and it still exists today. What is our remote learning offering? And how does that compare really to many of the promises that we made to students about our campus experience? We heard the word hands-on a number of times in the opening sessions from students. Our value of learning, connection to faculty, the communities that we create. Campus experience is a core part of what students value. It's a core part of what we share. And remote learning challenged all of that. People did remarkable things, but what we really need to understand was this shift from, do we need a digital strategy? So what we heard from Chancellor Maldonado was, no, it's actually a personalization strategy that is enabled by technology. And this concept of an education strategy for the digital age is one that has been building for years. And there were some wonderful phrases stated earlier. Dr. Baget, for instance, talked about the commitment to diversity and technology, and what she wants to do to bring compassion and sensitivity. And so if we're going to think about education, we need to think about it through the lens of a diverse learner profile. And how we deliver education has to be multimodal. It has to recognize that diverse learners have diverse needs, diverse life stages, and diverse lifestyles. So how do we use technology to support diversity through multiple modes of engagement, multiple modes of affordability and access? And that education strategy is a people strategy and not a technology strategy. Fairly easy to say, but frankly, it's really hard to do. But I see this morning excellence. Peter Drucker coined this phrase in the 80s, culture eats strategy for breakfast. What I'm seeing is you have both. It's frankly inspiring when you see a culture being built. And I'm fortunate enough to have been at Microsoft in the early days under Bill Gates and guys like Steve Ballmer through the 90s. You may have seen a YouTube video where he's pounding his fist, there's spittle coming out. And the culture, both, our global society and certainly American culture, was one of aggression, carnivorous growth. We're going to be big. And Microsoft was unseating established companies like Digital and IBM and empowering users with tools to create desktop publishing, do their own word processing, calculate in spreadsheets, create local area networks. We were breaking down what was that 1984 mindset, but it was a very carnivorous and aggressive one. And you know what? Our stock price started to drop over time. That concept of what can we win next was not a winning formula. And about 6 years ago, a new CEO came in, Satya Nadella, and really understood that our company was in real danger. Our company was basically sick. So we needed to change our culture before we did anything else. It wasn't a tech problem. We've still had all the resources in the world, fortunate enough to have cash in the bank. We had a broad portfolio of products like Windows, network servers, SQL Server on our database server. Office is still probably the most valuable franchise from a technology standpoint in the world. But we needed to change our culture. We needed to understand that the way we worked, the values and the things that we placed in people, for instance, just weren't going to work anymore. And how you actually drive that is you teach entire classes on it. I don't pretend to be able to solve that problem today, but there's three things I'd like to focus on in the next 10 minutes. This concept of your values being your guidepost, but actually understanding your value. And for those that were here a couple years ago, you might see a slide or two come back. So it's not just who you are, but it's what value you provide. And then what you do. As we looked through the 90s and the 2000s, the role of technology was to improve our process. We empowered people. We had great phrases, but ultimately it was a process-centric approach. And if you look across your infrastructure today, you have different tools that are optimized for very specific processes. Personal collaboration and group collaboration lives often within Microsoft and Office and email. But learning and learning administration lives in your LMS. Your productivity infrastructure was purchased in the 90s. Your learning infrastructure and your ERP infrastructure was purchased in the early 2000s. Those are the primary tools that you work on today. And if we get very micro about it, financial aid works with its tool. Student services and advising has a slightly different tool. Alumni development has another tool. What you've begun investing in is people, the understanding of personas, building empathy and designing experiences. And that's what requires a new layer of insight and intelligence to actually help guide you on the next role of technology, to actually start to prioritize the value that you provide while changing the methods, the people you serve, and the experiences you deliver to those people in a very personalized way. That growth mindset is huge. And I'm going to give just one example. For those here a couple of years ago, I stay consistent. This is a picture in 1905 of the Flatiron Building in lower Midtown Manhattan. You'll see there's lots of horses. You'll see there's some covered horses where people are doing work. There's transportation. There's workers moving goods. And there's people moving around. What do you think happens 20 years later? Come 1925. Cars are everywhere. Now we need parking spaces. The horses have been completely replaced. And I think one of the greatest inspirations for transformation, it's not a tech company, it's the Teamsters. The Teamsters' very name and their logo is tied to managing a team of horses. As we heard earlier, the winds of our history don't necessarily define our future. We can honor it, we can respect it, we can put horses in our logo. We can preserve teams as the Teamsters is who we are. But the value we provide is logistics and transportation. The value that people seek is we get important stuff from here to there in a safe and preserved way. If you need refrigeration or you need assurance, the Teamsters have stayed true to their value while changing their method every 15 to 20 years. Their methods change from shipping docks to horse stables to trucking warehouses. And now they're looking at bots and driverless cars. So methods don't define the Teamsters. Values define the value that they provide is what defines the Teamsters. And it's not limited, obviously, to transportation. We can see this. We can see it in the railroad industry, right? Amtrak didn't define themselves as a transportation company. They defined themselves as a train company. If you were in the CD business or you were a record store, you went out of business. But if you defined yourself as a music entity, music has thrived. So people who deliver music are doing exceptionally well. Netflix moved from CD distribution to online streaming. They were in the giving you value and entertainment when you want it with a broad selection, predictable pricing. They understood their value. They pitched originally around, no late fees. It was consistent, and they continue to do that. And so music transformed, right? The delivery system and the methods transformed, but the value didn't. People still love music. And so I think when we think about our offering, when we think about the personas that we serve, when we think about the value we provide to the economy, this is that next question, which is what is it? What is our value? And I think it's important not for me to answer that question. So for those of you who did have access, if you have your phone, go ahead and scan this. I'd love to hear 2 words from you, and I'll provide the word cloud back. You can all get that, but if you do have your phone out, let's play along. Scan right at it, open up the form. And I'm going to put a couple of words in here. What I heard a lot of people talk about hope and dreams. It came in different words. But what I heard was, you're going to help me reinvent myself. You're going to provide a dream. You're giving me a chance. And I think the value that you give to a lot of learners is hope. And the other thing that I certainly heard was that they value family. They value what they can do for the next generation. They value how to make their family proud, to make their spouse proud. They value the family time. And so having convenience, those are just 2 words that I might put in. And I'll hope I can look over here and see how many of you might be answering this for me right now. We got 6 in there. So as a few more come in, I'll make that word cloud up for you. But I really appreciate whatever feedback you can provide. And that concept of teaching, of method versus value. I'm going to hit this as we move toward wrapping up and talk about how we've changed too. Teaching is what we do, but learning is what we're valued for. Learning is what the regional economies, it's what the partnership with Apple around coding. It's about skills, workforce development, job placement, getting an interview. and showing what I've learned, the competencies that I've built, the job that I'm capable to go get. How you teach is frankly less important unless we know that that method drives learning. It drives more personal connections with students. So feel free to change your methods. Feel free to experiment. Feel free to alter the model. Now, I recognize personas are why we're here. There are diverse life stages, diverse lifestyles, diverse career goals, and we can't treat every student the same way. They don't want to engage with us the same way. And while there are certainly experiences that are coveted and valued, who wouldn't want to be at this wonderful concert pre-COVID? I hope they're wearing masks in the next stage. But not everyone's able to go, whether it's affordability. That's a pretty expensive ticket some of those people just paid for. But they still love the music. They still love to watch it and stream it. There's lots of ways to include people in this experience. That is the most desirable experience. That is what I'd prefer to do. But I have a sick family member at home. I have a job to provide for a spouse and some children. So I'm going to need to come to campus between 9 p.m. and 1 a.m. because that's really when I have a window. And that concept of how we can tailor our offering to meet the needs of more people without burdening ourselves. I'm going to talk about how to keep that burden down. And Chancellor Maldonado, I put a slide in here as you were talking. I'm absolutely stealing this quote. Personalized learning is the intersection of diversity and technology. I can't think of a better way to actually describe that. I'm making a better slide. I'll give you full credit. But the purpose of technology is to actually extend what we do, scale our empathy, scale our human connections so we can support a more diverse customer base. How you support that, the tools you need, this is a little bit of a shameless plug, but please, there are learning pathways, there's opportunities. We have all kinds of training to help you evolve your methods, improve your practice, understand what tools and tips might be out there, whether it's from Microsoft or other third parties. We are investing in your learning so that you can scale your practice to meet and serve more students. We're also investing in how we change our products. I talked about, that culture change, and the shift to a cloud company means we really no longer deliver tools. The core value that we provide, much like Netflix moved from delivering CDs to streaming online. We own LinkedIn. We have something called the Office Graph that understands the volume that I showed earlier, when people log in IM, how often they're doing it. We don't have any idea who you are or what you're saying personally, but we do know within LinkedIn what tens of millions of people have from a career profile or a background. We do know that data, if left alone, could be used or bad assumptions could be had. So our first product, first ever solution that mines LinkedIn data in a product is delivered solely through higher education institutions. Not K-12, not workforce, solely through higher education institutions, so that the power of LinkedIn data can be coupled with proper human advisement and put into the context of both tech skills and human skills that are needed. And yes, we connect it automatically to offerings in LinkedIn. Yes, we mine LinkedIn career profiles and pathways, but we need and have to have that tied to institutional offerings for activities, for groups, for courses. So you can build internships and work experience and make connections that actually guide you to achieve the hopes and dreams that I heard Marcus lay out. And so what engineers came through Houston Community College before me? What pathway did they take? What experiences can I develop? And Career Coach is mining. Our new value is mining data and creating connections. It's no longer about just tools for productivity. It's about insights and connections for productivity. So I'm not going to do a whole demo for time right now. But on the K-12 side, we're focusing a little different, and you'll see versions of this coming for higher ed as well. K-12 teachers, much like faculty, are overwhelmed. Standards, teach to the test, ILP plans, parent meetings, all of these things are burdening them, and we have tremendous insight. There's one value that we do have, is that the curriculum, the content, and the assessment rubrics around standards, state-level standards, allow us to measure progress. So we can actually look at the union of standards-based achievement and activity and truly give instructors and educators insight into which courses, which students, who's active, who's not active, who's reflecting, really drive unique experiences that inform educators so they can personalize engagement with individual learners, and see even things like, how is reading progress going? So if you have English as a second language students, even though this is targeted to K through 12, these are services that you could avail yourselves of. Understanding, what is the accuracy rate? What is the reading rate? You can see on my screen as I talk, there's a transcript that's just automatically following. We have cloud services to use these things. Additional research on the premise that virtual meetings are not as good as in-person meetings. We can mine and track and monitor. We did this project with the University of Rochester. The same sentiment analysis that you saw me show in the video earlier is what is pulling out what was this person's engagement level, what was her engagement level, when did they speak, what was the tone, how often did they speak. We can grab a transcript, we can show engagement level, we can show irritation or all these elements, and give folks feedback on what you might need to do next in the meeting. These technologies are what we're bundling up and working with educators to figure out the appropriate use, the trusted use, to drive insight into learners and learning outcomes, and then equip faculty and educators with that type of insight, not burden them with more work, but highlight, okay, here's how this went, without having to do a survey or having to do that. And I realize that this is indeed a change to your practice. I realize that what we've been comfortable with for literally decades, many institutions were already changing. And Houston, I think, is an exemplar of that. Your work on personas predated the pandemic by a couple of years. Your investment toward a CRM solution and evolving your practices and tying technology to diverse learner needs is a new practice. It's based on a few products, but the products don't change anything. It's the new practice. And like a lot of things, you can go out and buy the same golf clubs as your favorite professional golfer. You're not going to have as good a swing. Tiger Woods has one heck of a swing, and I can go buy the same golf clubs, but I assure you my practice is not as good as his, whether it's a tennis racket or teaching. I'm going to go back to where I started and just really encourage you to embrace the diverse learning styles, embrace the change that's upon us, because it is a time in which the value of higher education has never been needed more from a skills perspective, and it's never been appreciated more from a personal and social mobility perspective. So please, let's jump in and make what's next. If you have any thoughts or comments, I'll leave with my contact information. And I just want to say thank you to Chancellor Maldonado and Dr. Ewan for letting me listen this morning and offer our perspective as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Rob. Rob Curtin from Microsoft, thank you for being here this morning. We are going to move on. In closing, I'd like to introduce one of our students, Kenesha Friend, an HCC alumni who launched a website, airbloom.com, after winning the Ideas Pitch competition. Fascinating story. Here's Kenesha.
Entrepreneurship involves a passion to place your skills and talent where needed. The faculty at Houston Community College prepared me to do just that. My name is Kenesha Friend, and as the lead doula and founder of Airbloom Co., I empower expectant mamas to have positive birth experiences. Prior to working as a full-time lactation educator and birth doula, I was a reading teacher for 5 years. Though, once you're a teacher, you never stop teaching. The setting just changes. So instead of middle school classrooms, it's a hospital room, a birth center, or even kneeling down beside a mother in a birth pool in the comfort of her own home. The skill of teaching is never lost. The content changes. Instead of reviewing subject-verb agreement, I go over labor positions, how to avoid birth trauma, and holistic pain relief measures. With Air Bloom Co., I advocate for pregnant moms who seek evidence-based support, unbiased understanding, and quality maternal health care. I place focus on serving Black women, a group that is 3 times more likely to die while giving birth than any other race. In 2020, many people were shying away from the public, except for babies. Babies are born every day regardless of a pandemic. However, the CDC declared in-person high-touch birthing services too risky for pregnant women and new mothers. I quickly pivoted my in-person doula services and took my mission online, teaching online prenatal classes and shipping my lactation cookies locally. At the time, I was attending HCC to take 3 nursing prerequisite courses, but my connection with the faculty and staff has led to a long-term support system. In fact, Houston Community College was Air Bloom Co.'s very first investor. Last summer, I entered the Shark Tank pitch competition. Didn't win, but gained great advice and a mentor in Professor Ravi, who connected me with SCORE Houston. With his feedback, I won the next HCC pitch competition 2 months later. I went on to win 2 national and 1 international competitions soon after, which allowed me to meet my entrepreneurial goals of expanding Air Bloom Co.'s product line. Now, we offer birth education, birth services, ship our 5 science-based relief and recovery items, and 4 signature milk-boosting lactation cookies nationwide. Financial security, the support of faculty and staff from HCC, and gaining the invaluable mentorship from Professor Ravi allowed me to confidently and consistently show up where I am needed with Air Bloom Co. and as a future women's health nurse practitioner. Staff and faculty of Houston Community College, every lecture or program you lead help shape the entrepreneurs of the future. You have the distinct power to provide students with the ultimate student experience and a connection to a vast network of opportunities. You, me, we are Houston's Community College. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenesha, for your inspiring words. Now, I'm excited to share a short video of our recent art car project. This project is a shining example of how HCC has and continues to embrace the diversity of our faculty, staff, and students as we collaborate across the district and use technology to continue to provide innovative solutions and personalized learning for our students. HCC is truly embracing the future for Houston as we look ahead to the next 50 years.
So the Art Car project actually has a much longer history. In 2018, we opened the West Houston Institute, and as a part of the grand opening of that, we established a program for Innovation Fellows. We're now in the 3rd iteration of that event, having Innovation Fellows, and the numbers are growing. We also said that we wanted to have one of those fellows, at least initially, to be an artist in residence. So I reached out to Colleen Riley, Dean Riley, and basically said, this is what we're looking for. And she says, I have just the person. At that time, we still didn't know we were going to build an art car, but eventually Ashley led us there. Ashley's the faculty member that got selected. In the first year, she started working on art bikes. And the students that she worked with, a team of students designed the bikes on paper, and then they went about the business of trying to figure out how to make them happen. So after the art bikes, Ashley was able to finagle an ambulance from the EMT program on the east side of town. The automotive students, also at Northeast, began working on it to make it roadworthy. Ultimately, the importance of a project like the art car, it doesn't end up having to be an art car, is the idea is that it helps to foster creative learning styles, active and collaborative learning. Students in this project designed it on paper, they thought through it, they dreamed it, they envisioned it, they put it on paper, and then they made their paper version a reality, which is fabulous, especially when they're doing it in a classroom setting, learning new skills that they have to take on in order to make that work. This is really what the West Houston Institute is all about. It's what we're trying to perfect in our curriculum when we move into areas around personalized learning. helping students identify what it is they dream for themselves and then helping them create it and giving them the tools they need to get there. The art car parade was canceled this year, but there was an event where it was clear that the art car that they had created, the ambulance, was really something special, and there were people all over it for the evening that I was there. And that was true for 3 or 4 days that it was on display. And they ended up winning all the categories available. So I want to make sure that we thank the students, the faculty, and the staff that made this car reality. I'm not going to go into names. There are all sorts of people, but you know who you are. You know you're a part of this. There were supporters. There were encouragers. There were people who just came by to help. Hopefully, you can see that what you've done is help create an experience both for students, for fellow students, for faculty and staff, that hopefully is the kind of thing that they'll take with them forever. And I know HCC will keep it with us forever through the example that you've given us. Thank you.
And thank you all so much for joining us this morning for this convocation. Here's to a great fall 2021 semester. We'll hope you'll join us this afternoon for our virtual discussions around this morning's theme. I'm Todd Duplantis, and we'll see you again next time.